The night of April 30th, 2025, began like any other for the Masih family in Lahore. Iqbal Masih, a father, checked on his children. He saw his daughter Jassica sleeping peacefully in her bed at 1:30 a.m. She was just 16 or 17 years old, a young Christian girl with her life ahead of her. The quiet of their home in Gulistan Colony No. 2 was undisturbed. No one could have predicted the profound distress that the morning would bring. It was a moment of ordinary family life, soon to be shattered by an inexplicable absence, a void where a beloved daughter should have been. This ordinary night marked the beginning of an extraordinary ordeal for Jassica and her entire family, plunging them into a world of fear and uncertainty. When dawn broke around 5 a.m., the familiar sounds of morning were pierced by a chilling discovery. Jassica was not in her bed. She was not in the house. A cold dread must have gripped Iqbal Masih as he realized his daughter was missing. The main door of their home stood open, an ominous sign suggesting she had not simply wandered off. The security of their home had been breached, and with it, the family's peace of mind. The ordinary rhythm of their lives stopped. In its place, a frantic search began, fueled by a father's desperate hope and mounting fear for his young daughter's safety and well-being. Iqbal Masih did not immediately rush to the authorities. Like any parent, his first instinct was to find her himself. He scoured the neighborhood, calling her name, his voice likely filled with growing panic. He searched every place he could think of, hoping against hope to see her familiar face, to hear her voice. But his efforts were in vain. Jassica was nowhere to be found. The streets that were once familiar now seemed hostile. Each corner turned, revealing only more emptiness. The hours that passed must have felt like an eternity, each moment amplifying the terrible possibilities and the crushing weight of her absence. With a heavy heart and a growing sense of helplessness, Iqbal Masih had to accept that his own search was not enough. He went to the factory area police station. He had to report the unthinkable. His beloved daughter Jassica was missing. He told the police he suspected she had been abducted. This was not just a case of a teenager running away. This was something far more sinister in his mind. The police listened to his fears. ASI Mohammed Mudassar Latif registered First Information Report number 2592 25th. The charge was under Act 365B of the Pakistan Penal Code, which deals with kidnapping to compel marriage. The official investigation began, but for Iqbal, the nightmare had already taken firm hold. The initial days following Jassica's disappearance were filled with anguish for Iqbal Masih and his family. The police investigation was underway, but answers were slow to come. Iqbal had voiced his suspicions early on, pointing towards a neighbor, Azim Ullah. Azim was a 32-year-old Muslim man. The police did question him, bringing a brief flicker of hope that Jassica might soon be found and return to her family. However, Azim Ullah was released after only a few hours of questioning. This release must have been a devastating blow to Iqbal's hopes. The authorities, it seemed, did not have enough to hold him, or perhaps they believed his account of events at that time. The situation took another dark turn just 3 days later. Azim Ullah, the man Iqbal suspected, disappeared. He fled, evading any further police scrutiny for the moment. This act of fleeing naturally deepened Iqbal Masih's suspicions. Why would an innocent man run away? For a father desperate for his daughter's return, this was surely a sign of guilt, a confirmation of his worst fears. The police now had another missing person to consider, but their primary focus remained the safe recovery of young Jassica. The community watched, and the Masih family waited, their days marked by prayer and a desperate longing for news, any news, about their daughter. More than 2 weeks passed, an agonizing stretch of time for any parent whose child is missing. Then on May 16, 2025, there was a significant development. Jassica, now sometimes referred to by the name Aina, was brought before Mr. Hassan Safraz Chima. He was a magistrate at the Model Town Lahore courts. She was there to provide a statement under Section 164 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. This procedure is for recording confessions and statements. The air in the courtroom must have been thick with anticipation. Her family hoped to hear that she wanted to come home, that her ordeal was over. What she said, however, sent shockwaves through her family. Jassica, or Aina, stood before the magistrate and delivered a statement that contradicted everything her father believed. She stated clearly that she had not been abducted. She said she had not been harmed or raped. Instead, she claimed she had willingly accepted Islam. She also stated that she had married Azim Ullah of her own free will, without any pressure or coercion from anyone. She then requested that the case her father had filed, FIR number 2592/25, be dismissed entirely. For Iqbal Masih, who was convinced his daughter was a victim, these words must have been incomprehensible, like a script written by someone else, someone who did not have Jassica's best interests at heart. Following Jassica's testimony, the police, acting on the magistrate's understanding of her statement, made a swift decision. They allowed Jassica, now legally considered Aina and the wife of Azim Ullah, to reside with him. This decision was made in accordance, as they stated, with the Punjab government's legal framework. For the authorities, the case might have seemed straightforward. A young woman had declared her choice in court, but for Iqbal Masih and his wife, this was not an end. It was the beginning of a new, even more painful chapter. Their daughter was now officially with the man they believed had taken her, and the law seemed to be on his side, based on words they felt were not truly Jassica's own. Iqbal Masih was, and remains, utterly unconvinced by his daughter's statement. He firmly believes that Jassica was coerced. He argues that she was forced into making those declarations in court, perhaps under duress or after facing threats. One of his key arguments centers on her alleged conversion. Iqbal pointed out that Jassica was unable to properly recite basic Islamic proclamations, the kalima, which is fundamental to embracing Islam. To him, this inability was clear proof. It suggested that her conversion was not genuine, not from the heart, but a facade created under immense pressure. His daughter, he felt, was a victim trapped in a situation she could not escape. The agony experienced by Iqbal Masih and his wife is profound. Christian Daily International reported their immense mental anguish. Their world has been turned upside down, their hopes for their daughter's future replaced by constant worry for her well-being and her soul. This is the pain of parents who feel the system has failed to protect their child. They are not just fighting a legal case, they are fighting for the return of the daughter they know and love. They are fighting against a narrative that paints Jassica as a willing participant in her own disappearance and marriage, a narrative they simply cannot accept as truth. To navigate the complex legal terrain, Iqbal Masih has sought professional help. He has granted power of attorney to advocates Muhammad Ayub Ahir and Sumaira Habib. These lawyers are now tasked with representing the family's interests in court. A petition has already been filed. This petition challenges the judge's order that allowed Jassica to live with Azim Ullah. The legal battle is therefore far from over. The family, with the support of their legal team and organizations like HARDS, Human Aid and Relief Development Society, Pakistan, is determined to continue their fight, hoping to overturn the current decision and bring Jassica home, where they believe she truly belongs and will be safe. The case of Jassica Iqbal unfolds against a complex backdrop of Pakistani law, where different legal frameworks sometimes appear to be in conflict. According to the Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929, as applicable in Punjab, a child female is someone under 16 years of age. Jassica was reported to be 16 or 17. If she is indeed 16, any marriage would be considered a child marriage under this act. The act defines a minor as anyone under 18. This legislation aims to protect young girls from early marriage. However, the reality on the ground can be complicated by other interpretations and laws. There are ongoing efforts to strengthen protections against child marriage. A bill to raise the legal marriage age for females to 18 has been pending in the Punjab Assembly since April 2024. Furthermore, the Christian Marriage Amendment Act 2024 sets the marriageable age at 18 for Christians nationwide. This would clearly apply to Jassica as a Christian if her conversion is disputed. However, under interpretations of Sharia law, which also influences legal matters in Pakistan, Muslim girls can be considered eligible for marriage upon reaching puberty, or even younger if deemed mature. This creates a confusing legal landscape, where Jassica's statement of converting to Islam and marrying willingly brings different legal standards into play. Jassica's case is not an isolated incident. It highlights the broader, deeply concerning issue of alleged forced conversions and marriages, particularly affecting young girls from minority communities in Pakistan, including Christians and Hindus. Advocacy groups like Haads Pakistan, which is supporting the Masih family, frequently argue that victims in such situations are often under immense pressure. They contend that these young women and girls are coerced into making statements in court that deny any abduction or forced marriage. The fear of repercussions for themselves or their families can be a powerful tool of manipulation, making it difficult for them to speak their true minds freely. The international community also watches these situations with concern. Pakistan was ranked 8th on Open Doors' 2025 World Watch List for Christian persecution, indicating significant challenges faced by the Christian minority. While Pakistan's parliament did pass a bill on May 19, 2025, to curb child marriages, this was specifically for the Federal Capital Territory of Islamabad, and its full impact remains to be seen. For Jassica, Iqbal and her family, the path ahead is uncertain. The legal battle continues, fueled by a father's love and a belief in his daughter's vulnerability. The case remains a poignant example of the emotional turmoil and societal questions that arise when faith, family, law, and individual choice collide so dramatically.